What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the Credit Dude with Got Credit. And today I'm going to be talking about how to apply for a business credit card the right way. No fluff, no gimmicks, just straight facts. The new failure rate for new businesses is 20% in 2 years and 45% in 5 years. Now, I feel that one of the reasons that this is happening is because they have lack of access to capital, funding, and also credit. But don't worry. Today, I'm going to show you how to apply for a business credit card the right way, what you need to know, and how to get approved. A lot of the reasons that people get denied, believe it or not, is simply just because they're filling out an application the wrong way or their business isn't set up the right way in order to get approved. So as I break that down, make sure you take notes and make sure you follow along because I'm going to be giving you guys everything you need to get started. And don't worry, if you need help, Got Credit has your back. The first thing you want to make sure is your business credit set up properly? Now, a lot of the times people try to confuse this process or they try to overcomplicate it by simply just doing things that they honestly don't need to do. So I want to make sure that you have all the resources and all the steps necessary needed in order to make sure your business is set up before you even apply. So the first thing I wanted to make sure you do is check your business credit. You might already have some type of business credit established and also have some type of visibility out there in the business credit world. Now, there's Equifax Business, Experian Business, and also Dun & Bradstreet. Now, you can check your business credit with these websites directly, so you can just visit each one and you can go on there and see if you already have a profile. You can set up for the credit monitoring with each of them, which is also recommended. But I suggest you go to nav.com, nav.com, and you can monitor all three of your business credit profiles in one place. The great thing about Nav is that as you're making your monthly payment to them, it's also helping you build business credit. So let's say if you sign up with Nav and you have no business credit established whatsoever, as you make your payments to them and as you're monitoring your business credit with them every month, they are then going to report that payment and, in a sense, kind of creating your business credit profile. Unfortunately, just because you formed your LLC and just because you have an EIN does not mean you have business credit. So this is a great way for you guys to go ahead and get started with building business credit if you have a fresh LLC. So the second thing I want to make sure you do is I want to make sure that your personal credit is good to go. A lot of the times people try to ignore this step or they simply try to think that they don't need personal credit to build any business credit. And I can tell you that that's far from the truth. So you want to make sure that your personal credit is around 680 or higher, because if you do need to provide a personal guarantee on some applications, you won't have to worry about it because you already know that your personal credit is good to go. The third thing I want to make sure you do is I want to make sure that your business is structured properly. So a lot of people try to ignore the fact that, okay, I have an EIN, so I don't really need a business, which is they're operating as a sole proprietor. You want to make sure you at least have an LLC. And there are different types of businesses that you can get set up with. You know, obviously, you could do this on your own, or you can get with your accountant to make sure that you're setting up your business the right way. I personally would recommend the LLC, especially if you're just getting started. And as you continue to grow your empire, you can always elect to get taxed as an S Corp or other different types of entities. So the fourth most important thing that I think a lot of people try to overlook as well is opening a business bank account. Now, you will need your EIN and you will need your LLC in order to do this. So make sure you visit your local bank, or you can go online and find a bank that works best for you. But you want to make sure that you're using a business bank account when establishing business credit and also running your business in general. You don't want to use your personal checking account. You don't want to use things like Venmo or PayPal as your main business. It's just risky, but also you don't want to start putting business money in your personal account. Just gets a little messy when it comes to tax season, and especially when you try to go for funding down the road, they're going to want things like your profit and loss statement, business bank statements, things like that. So you want to just make sure that you set up correctly, so that way you're ahead of the game. Now also, the fifth thing is a business phone number and a business address. A lot of you might be operating your business from home. Listen, it's okay. You know, ever since COVID, a lot of us just wanted to stay home and still, be with our family and run our business, and that is fine. The fifth thing is making sure you have a business address and a business phone number. So listen, a lot of you might be working from home, and I get it. After COVID, a lot of us decided to just stay home, be with our families, and still build our empire. Now, the only thing I suggest is that if you are working from home, you still want to get either a virtual address, a registered agent, or if you have a brick and mortar, make sure that that address is on all of your LLC paperwork. It's on all of your business bank account information. So that way, when you're building business credit and you're giving your address of your business to like vendors and net 30 accounts, and if you're applying for a loan or a credit card, that all the information matches. And also a business phone number. You don't want to pretty much start operating your business from your cell phone. There are a lot of resources out there. So if you want to have a business phone number or a phone number that's like a voice over internet protocol, it allows you to have a business presence without using your cell phone. And I can tell you that when you start applying for business credit, having a business address and a true business phone number doesn't have to be an 866 number or an 800 number. You will look a lot more credible, especially if you're not using your cell phone and or your home address. And the sixth thing is I want to make sure that you get set up with Dun & Bradstreet. So even though you might already have NAV or you might already have Equifax or Experian Business, a lot of you might not realize that you can easily set up your Dun & Bradstreet or your DUNS number right on their website. So just go to Dun & Bradstreet website, go ahead and click where it says start my DUNS number. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Nobody should be charging you thousands of dollars to get your DUNS number. Now, here's the thing. When you do request your DUNS number, you will need a copy of your LLC document and also a copy of your EIN document. So being that you already have these, it's going to be that much easier for you to form your DUNS number. This DUNS number is important, because as you start applying for certain types of business credit or if you get a vehicle, they will require you to give your DUNS number as part of the application process, which I'm going to explain shortly. So the next thing is make sure that you don't just apply for any type of business credit card. And I know that there's a lot of things out there that are telling you net 30 accounts and, vendor credit and, there's other business credit cards and business funding, and you're probably like a little bit overwhelmed, which, listen, I get it. You're not really sure which to apply for. I can tell you that if your personal credit is good, there are a couple credit cards that you want to make sure that you gravitate towards, because at the end of the day, one of the main reasons why you want to build business credit is to increase your cash flow, separate your personal from your business credit, but also to take advantage on, number one, 0% APR credit cards. Now, typically these credit cards will come with like 12 to 18 months of no interest for a very long time. And the reason why these cards are good, imagine you borrowing $10,000 and you don't have to pay any interest on it. The great thing is that these credit cards will not appear on your personal credit. So it's like kind of like getting free money to do whatever it is you want in your business. Now, to me, what sounds better? Getting a $500 net 30 account that is not really going to benefit you in any way, or spending that same $500 on a monthly payment to something that you used that could be like generating ads, getting a sponsorship, employees, things like that, that's actually going to improve your business and give you what I like to call a return on investment. That is the main reason why I think you should be using business credit. And that's why I don't just want you applying for anything, because if you do, the next thing you know is you're going to have $2,000 a month on net 30 accounts that's really not doing anything for you other than just buying toilet paper or tools or things online that you don't really need. Now, the other thing I want you to look out for is annual fees. Now, I know a lot of people get scared of, American Express type credit cards. Now, annual fees are great as long as they provide also some type of return. A lot of credit cards, they might have an annual fee, but the rewards for those cards or the benefits of those cards supersede it. So unless you really have the cash flow in order to sustain those annual fees, stay away from those cards right now, because there are a lot of other credit cards that you can apply for that don't have annual fees, especially with American Express, and you can still get the benefits as well. The other thing I want to make sure you do is look for credit cards that have not only benefits, but rewards. So as you start spending your money and as you start spending these credit cards, okay, am I getting miles? Am I getting cash back? Am I getting travel? How much percentage am I getting back for ads? How much am I getting back for paper? Where am I going to get the most money from? Because at the end of the day, when you're running a business, there are going to be some expenses. So as long as those expenses are also bringing you something, remember, return on investment doesn't just happen when it comes with cash. it also comes with credit. So as long as you're staying away from high APR credit cards that you don't need right now, and you are gravitating towards those 0% credit cards, you will have a lot of benefits and rewards when it comes to you spending. Next thing you know, in 12 to 18 months, you already have free travel. You can take your family on a vacation, take your employees somewhere. And I'm telling you, once you start learning about the rewards and the benefits, it just becomes really fun, and you start gravitating more towards those credit cards and kind of staying away from those net 30s that don't really build anything other than just sometimes a headache. So next is, how do I fill out a business credit application? Sometimes it might sound new to you, and it looks a little bit kind of like, man, what is this? Because on a personal credit application, it just has your name, your address, phone number, social security number, date of birth, email address, income, and that's about it. So typically you're like, this is easy, this is good. But when it comes to a business credit application, they typically will want more information. And this is where some of that information that I talked about in the beginning comes in handy. So the first thing, obviously, is they want your legal business name. You want to make sure that when you do this, you're doing it the same way on every single application. Because the reason why this is important is, let's say you apply for one business credit card with one name. Then the second LLC, it's the same name, but maybe you abbreviated something. Maybe you put LLC at the end. Maybe you forgot to leave a name out. It happens. Next thing you know, when those companies start reporting to, let's say, Equifax and Experian, or even Dun & Bradstreet, it could potentially cause multiple profiles to come up, and then you're going to miss out on those payments being reported. So make sure, however you're filling out your applications, it's the same exact way that's typically on either your LLC document or your EIN document, to keep everything pretty much the same way across the board. Also, your industry type. A lot of the times when you're building your business credit and or you're starting your LLC, certain types of banks don't like high risk industries. So if you are a high risk industry, consider maybe changing the functionality of your business, maybe changing your name. And this could be done easily. You can make an amendment on your state website, and you can change either the name of your business or the functionality on what you do, because you do want to stay away from industries that are high risk. And a lot of those industry guys, you won't really know is high risk until you start applying. So just make sure you stay away from it, because not only could you not get access to capital or funding, but you might not even be able to get some type of credit at all, because it's not you, it's the industry. And unfortunately, it's just the way it is, guys. So also remember that business phone number and that business address that I was talking about. This is where you want to make sure you put it. Now, even though they might ask you for a personal guarantee, you want to make sure on the business side, you're putting all your business information, business address, business phone number, business name, things like that. And then when it comes to the personal credit section, that's where you might have to put your personal information. So just make sure that everything looks different, so that way you're not using the same information to apply. Also, guys, the structure of your business is very important. When you're applying for this, they're going to ask you, are you an LLC? Are you a C Corp? Are you an S Corp? Are you a nonprofit? Are you a sole proprietorship? Are you a partnership? There's so many different types of LLC structures. Make sure you're choosing the right one for your business. Like if you're a LLC, don't put you're a nonprofit. I've seen a lot of people do this because on some applications, it might say, hey, if you're a nonprofit, you don't need to provide a personal guarantee. Hey, if you're this, you might not need to provide this. Don't get slick and try to choose that, because at the end of the day, when it comes to the underwriting process, they're going to find out, they're going to deny you, and it's going to be a little bit of a aggravation to them. So just make sure that you're choosing the right entity across the board when you start filling this out. So another thing that I see when they ask you to apply for business credit cards or even any type of funding is the number of employees you have. So if you have only one employee, make sure you put yourself. Don't put 0, because they're going to be like, wait a minute, this company doesn't have any employees. So even if it's just you, make sure you're putting at least one person, because there are some companies that want to look into, okay, does this guy have, or this woman have 5 employees? Do they have 10? Do they have 15? Make sure you're putting it the right way. Also, one of the most important things on an application is the tax ID. This is your EIN, and this is where you get it from the state website. So from the IRS website. You want to make sure that when it asks for your EIN or your tax ID, that you're putting your business tax ID. And when it asks for your social, put your social, okay? Some applications will require both, especially if it's asking you for a personal guarantee. make sure to not get these mixed up, because if you do, it could cause you to get denied. Remember what I was saying in the beginning, that a lot of the times the reasons why people get denied is just because they're filling out the application wrong. So as long as you're following these steps, it's going to enhance your approval process. And I promise you, it's going to be less of a headache. And as you get better and better, you're going to be able to fly right through these. So the last two is estimated monthly spending. So what that means is they want to know, okay, well, if I approve you for this business credit card, how much are you going to use on it a month? If your business is just starting out and you're requesting a credit limit of $100,000, is that really realistic? Is that really, can you even use $100,000? Can you use 25? So put how much you think your company is going to spend a month on that card, because it is going to also be based on your revenue, which is the last thing. So your annual revenue is very important. I always tell people, listen, when it comes to applying for business credit, you don't need to lie. You don't have to lie, because when you lie, that's where things get a little bit sticky. They will find out. So always be honest about your income and about your revenue. If it's estimated, like if okay, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing that, I have these contracts lined up, you can put an estimated annual revenue, and that can help you out with estimating your monthly spend. So just make sure you're being honest with everything, and always be truthful when it comes to an application, because I would rather you get a $500 or $1,000 credit card to start rather than getting denied, because once they saw your tax return or your bank statement and they see, okay, well, you weren't making this, you lied to the application, you know what, we're going to close your account down, we're going to flag you as risk, and you can never apply with us again. We've seen that happen. So just to make sure when you do apply that you're being honest about everything that I just mentioned. So next, you're probably wondering, well, what happens when I apply? So next, you're probably wondering, what happens after I apply? Now, you could either get denied, you can get approved, you can get pending. There are a lot of different things that happen. So depending on who you're applying for, they might tell you you're approved right away. Great. You got approved. They're going to tell you your limit. They're going to tell you how much you can spend per month. They're going to tell you what the terms are. They're going to pretty much tell you everything. A lot of the times after you apply, it'll be like a little screen and it'll say, hey, this is what you're approved for. And even if they don't tell you your limit, they might send it to you in the mail, or you might have to wait until it comes in the either email or mail. But the other great thing you can do, if you're that anxious and you really want to know, is you can just call. Typically, there will be a phone number on the approval application, and you can just call them up and say, hey, listen, how you doing? My name is so-and-so. I'm with this business. I was just approved, and I'm just curious, what is my credit limit? I noticed that a lot of the times with American Express, they don't give you your limit when you do get approved. And if you're that anxious, just give them a call, and they will let you know. Now, a lot of other times, your application might be under review. And if it's under review, don't be afraid. This does not mean you're declined, especially with American Express and other business credit cards. They might just want to verify information. They just want to make sure, okay, is this the LLC that applied? Is this the person that provided the personal guarantee? Or is this just, is this a fraudulent account? Did somebody steal their information? So they might either have you call them, they might have you do an email verification, they might have you link your bank account to the application using Plaid, or they might just want a phone call verification. They might want you to provide them with an LLC document or an EIN document or some type of bill that has your business address on it. And listen, it's okay. Applications under review are actually a great thing because it doesn't mean you were denied. And that's the other thing that could happen. After you apply, you can just get denied. And a lot of the times, unfortunately, they're not going to tell you why. They're just going to say, unfortunately, at this time, we cannot approve you. So you have a couple options, though, when you are denied. You can call that same number that I told you about that usually is for when you're approved, and you can say, how you doing? Unfortunately, I was just denied this application, and I wanted to know why. They can say, well, we couldn't verify your business. We didn't know if this was really you. So typically when they do give you a denied decision, just give them a call, find out exactly why, because now you know what you need to do to get approved. So don't look at denials as a bad thing, because denials can be a good way for you to learn and for you to change something next time, or for you to improve something next time. Because remember I was telling you, you typically want to be like a 680 credit score. Well, what if you apply with a 520? Well, you knew you weren't going to get approved, but you would just want to see if you get approved anyway. Now you know, okay, I got to work on my credit. I got to do this. I got to increase my income. I got to maybe get a couple of employees. I maybe need an EIN because I forgot that I only have my social. I don't have an EIN yet. So there's a lot of different factors in which could happen. So make sure you're finding out exactly what it is so you can know how to get approved. Another thing you want to make sure you do is know the importance of separating your personal and your business credit. Because if you don't, you know what's going to happen? You're going to start applying for everything just using your personal. You're going to start getting approved for personal credit cards, using them for the business. Next thing you know, your credit is going to get shot. Now, trust me, I've been there. Back in 2014, I had to file personal bankruptcy because you know what I did? I didn't really know about business credit. I started doing everything under my personal, applying for every single credit card and maxing it out, for my business, kind of just like learning the ropes of entrepreneurship. I was already 3 to 4 years in. And you know what happened? My utilization skyrocketed. I started having late payments. And now, unfortunately, I had to file bankruptcy because I didn't understand the power of getting the true return on investment, but I didn't understand the true meaning of separating personal and business credit. Now, if your personal credit is tanked with business debt, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have high utilization, low credit scores, and you're pretty much going to put yourself in a box to where when you need more money, you can't get approved because you have too much debt on your personal credit. And you're like, this isn't even mine. It's my business's. In the eyes of the bank, it doesn't matter because everything is in your personal name. So you know what you do is you start shifting everything to your business credit. And once you start shifting everything to your business credit, you're going to learn a little bit more. You're going to gain a little bit more insight. You're going to start increasing your cash flow, and your credit score is always going to be high because none of that business debt is on your personal credit. This is going to do wonders. When I bought my first house in 2017, and it took me 3 years to truly master the power of business credit, the banks didn't even really see the business debt that I had. Because guess what? When you apply for a mortgage, the mortgage companies don't check Equifax Business, Experian Business, or Dun & Bradstreet. They just look at your personal credit. So all the debt that I had on my business, okay, I had vehicles and I had, credit cards, it does not show up on the personal credit. The same thing when I bought my second house in 2021. The vehicles that I had on there and the credit cards, American Express, none of that showed on my personal credit. So what this does is it increases your borrowing power and it lowers your debt to income ratio. So now, as you're truly separating both personal and business credit, your credit score is going to continue to increase because you have less debt on the personal side. And even though you might have more business debt, as long as your business is making money and you're carrying the business and you're doing what you got to do, your personal credit will typically never be affected, even if you provide a personal guarantee, because you're separating both of them. And that's truly where the magic happens. Now you're using your business credit to apply for things for your business. You're using your personal credit as leverage to get approved for them by either providing a personal guarantee or just letting banks know that you're credible. And it's just, it's just amazing to do. And it's amazing to see what truly happens when you have a consistent 780, 800 credit score and your business is making money. And then the next thing you do is, wow, I need that credit card. I need that car and that business loan. And they check your personal credit. You're going to get approved, no problem. So make sure you're doing everything possible to separate. And in the beginning, I understand that you might have to carry some business debt on the personal credit cards, and it's okay. Just don't get into the habit of it because your credit score is going to suffer and it's going to be kind of like something you can't escape from. So the next thing you want to make sure you do is building business credit the right way and also responsibly. Because listen, at the end of the day, just because it doesn't show on your personal credit does not mean that it's free money. And does not mean that you should just start building bad habits all of a sudden because, oh, wait a minute, this doesn't show my personal credit. Psh, I don't care if I'm ever late. I don't care if I max it out. I don't care. Now, that's not what I want you to think. I want you to treat the business credit cards as if they were reporting on your personal credit. So you want to make sure that you're pretty much keeping the balances as low as possible. Now, listen, I understand as a business owner, you might accrue expenses over time. 1 month might be better than others. 1 month you might get a bigger contract. 1 month clients might sign up. Listen, I know and I've been there. So as long as you're using your business credit cards for things, remember what I said, that are only going to give you a return on investment, okay, I have this $10,000 business credit card. I'm going to spend $5,000 at this event, $2,000 here. Don't think you got $10,000 and, oh, you know what? I'm going to buy these sneakers. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and max it out. Next thing you know, your business credit is maxed out. Okay. Your business revenue hasn't gone up. So now you're trying to catch up, and all of a sudden now your business credit becomes an issue and becomes a problem, and you're not really building good habits. So make sure that you're keeping that debt low as much as possible. So that way, if you need to borrow money again down the road, when they do check your business credit, you also are not at risk. Make sure you're making payments on time. Even though a lot of these accounts do not report on your personal credit, remember how I told you to get set up with nav.com in the beginning? When you get set up with Nav, all your business credit cards and all your on-time payments are going to be reported. Now, if you're late, guess what? It's going to lower your business credit score. And that's not what we want. We don't want you to now start building business credit, and now all of a sudden you have late payments on your business side. It's not fun. It's not good looking on your business credit reports. So just make sure you're doing everything the right way. So listen, you know how we say put everything on auto pay on the personal side? Do the same thing on your business. Put everything on auto pay. Make sure you know, okay, I have the money here, I have the money there. Make sure you know when it's coming out. Work out arrangements with them. So if you know you're going to be late, give them a call, because you don't want to now start having late payments on the business side, which is going to also put you in a bad position. So the great thing about Nav is that you can also check for errors. So when you get set up with Nav, you're going to be able to see Equifax, Experian, and Dun & Bradstreet. And remember, you could also get set up you can set up profiles with each of them as well. And if there's any errors on there, you have to dispute them directly with the website. So with nav.com, you cannot process any disputes. So let's say you have something with Experian. You will have to dispute it through your Experian business account, and the same thing with Dun & Bradstreet. So if you do have blemishes on your Equifax, you will have to call them. So make sure that once you get your Equifax business credit report, there's a number on there. There's a form typically you could also fill out, mail it in, because the same way when it comes to the personal side and there's errors and inaccurate information, trust me, it's going to also happen on the business side. This could be something as simple as correcting your name. Maybe there was a late payment that was reported. Maybe your address is incorrect. So you want to make sure that you have everything up to date, because you want to make sure that also when you continue to apply and make payments, that everything is just reported good. Also, just make sure everything is set up correctly as you go on. Make sure that if you apply for a new business, if you apply for a new business credit card, or if you have things that you're maybe you move, maybe your LLC, maybe you went from one city to another. Make sure you're changing the addresses and everything, so that way everything is set up correctly. Now, what I don't want you to do is set up your LLC from your house, right? You start applying for business credit cards with your new virtual office, and then all of a sudden you move and you forget to change everything. Trust me, I've been there. When I didn't really know what I was doing, it's a headache. So you could get everything fixed easily on the state website. Make sure your business bank account is set up the right way. Change everything. And I promise you that when you start applying for business credit and everything is set up the right way, you're going to be in a better position down the road. And it's just going to pretty much help you out with getting approved. Remember, guys, the reason why I want you to watch this video is so that way you're not a part of that statistic that 20% of businesses fail within the first 2 years and 45% fail within the first 5. I don't want you to be a statistic. I want you to be something in a business that overcomes those odds. Now, imagine your business having good business credit, you're getting approved for funding, you have good personal credit, you're investing in ads, you're sponsoring events, you have more clients coming in, you're providing a good service, whatever it is that you do, you're in a good industry. What does that look like for you in 2 to 4 years? And that is the true power of having business credit, and that is why I want you to win. I don't want you to fail at business credit. I don't want you to fail in business. So make sure you watch this video again. Make sure you share this video with a friend. Make sure you not only like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, but you also hit that notification bell. So that way when I'm dropping more videos in your business, it becomes easier and easier for you to get approved. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.